David and Kristina Golding, a couple bound by love, commitment, and their shared fight against addiction, open their world to you, our listeners. You will come face to face with the harsh realities of David's addiction to alcohol, cocaine, and gambling. The grit of addiction against the glitter of their multi-millionaire lifestyle, the heart-wrenching arguments, the sleepless nights, the helpless despair, and the endless cycle of hope and disappointment that Kristina lived through. This is not just their story, it's a journey many of us are forced to take. Together we can prevail, one day at a time. Welcome to the Goldings Show. My name is David. I'm an alcoholic addict.
My name is Kristina and I'm your wife.
Yes. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Okay, we're going to talk about coping strategies. So let's be honest. I'm just going to go straight in there.
Yeah.
That madness lasted 4 years.
Yeah.
And it was hell. I know it was hell for you. And you know, part of the purpose of this podcast is for me to never forget and remember and learn from that and talk about it. But you coped.
I did.
You coped. I'd like to talk about coping strategies today so that hopefully some other people can identify with that. Again, we talk about this often, don't we? This is our journey.
People ask me, how did you stay with him?
Is that the most common question?
The most common question. Why did you stay and not leave?
Why did you stay with him? Not
Why?
how.
Yeah. Why?
It's a bloody good question, let's be honest. Why did you stay with me? And I'm not searching here for accolades or anything.
No, there's not just one answer there.
No, it's complex, I know.
It's very complex. You're the father of my children.
Yeah.
We were married.
Yeah.
I've been divorced once.
Mm-hmm.
A single mum of 2 children.
Mm-hmm.
Was I going to vote myself in to have that again with 4?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Mm-hmm.
I enjoyed your absence and the lifestyle we had.
Mm-hmm.
I had independence. You never tried to control me. As poorly as you were mentally, you never once said, I want you to do this, I want you to wear this, and I want you to behave like this. Not once.
No.
I was free to come and go. I could have gone on trips when I wanted to. I never had to explain myself away. So actually, I had a really good independent lifestyle from the money that you made. I didn't make the money. You made the money. And together, we had our good times. But the happiest times, I'm so sorry to admit this, were when you weren't there.
Yeah.
Because you were God knows where.
Yeah.
I don't know where you were. And at the end, I never even thought about where you could be. I wasn't really bothered.
You weren't bothered.
Wasn't bothered. I was hopeful that maybe you'd stay longer and extend your trip.
Maybe sometimes you prayed for that and thought, gosh, I just don't want him to come home.
I prayed every day.
Did you?
Every day.
Wow.
But I also had a knowing in me. I can't explain it. I had a knowing in me that you would one day be sober and we would be okay.
Wow.
And here we are.
That's amazing.
Why did I stay with you? Multiple answers there.
Yeah.
But first and foremost, I loved you. We were married. You're the father of my children. And as insane as you were great around the kids. You were this big, silly clown that used to always make them laugh and it was so good.
I'm a big kid.
How you made them all laugh all the time. You weren't that dad that maybe some people have that comes home annoyed. You would always make time for the children, even if it was for short intervals, 10 minutes. Then you'd run out of steam and then you'd go and lie upstairs on the bed just to think about the day. Just that 10 minutes is all they needed. And I loved watching you all usually run around the house. Then you get out of breath and then you'd say, oh my God, I'm so unfit. And then we would just laugh it all away. And those good times were so good, I wasn't going to give those up.
Right.
And leave you. So there's loads of reasons why I stayed with you.
Okay. Thank you for that. I just recall actually from one of the things that we didn't cover in the last episode, which was in the madness. I think I asked you off air, what percentage of time do you think we were in the madness? You came up with a good answer.
All the time.
Yes.
All the time.
All the time.
Even when you were sober, you were miserable. You were problematic.
Okay.
You'd moan. Victor Meldrew. Every day, Victor Meldrew.
I was
in
miserable.
A posh voice. Miserable. Most of the time. Or you were drinking and you were making me laugh so much.
Right.
You know, when you were 1 bottle in, not 4 bottles in.
No.
1 bottle in, you were great.
But it would always lead to 4 anyway, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
There was never 1.
Well, sometimes you'd say, do you know what? I don't want wine anymore. I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to switch to G&T.
Ah.
And I thought, he thinks he's doing me a favour by changing his drink from wine to gin.
I did.
It made no difference, by the way. In fact, you think you'll probably cry more when you had a few gins.
Yes.
And I had no sympathy for you because you're very emotional.
Yeah.
I didn't have the emotions that you had.
Yeah.
You were so emotional and so sad. And I knew you were very sad. But my anger got in the way. There was no sympathy from me.
No.
Not towards the end, because I couldn't help it.
You'd said previously that sort of 25% of the time I wasn't there, or it felt like that. I would be away on business trips or be out of the house.
I'd say more than 25.
Go to work or whatever. So they were almost those moments of breathing space for you.
Breathing space. I just had to make sure that I answered your WhatsApps and your phone calls. You didn't ring me that often, which was good. It's just messages. I was so robotic.
Right. You know, again, that's probably idiosyncratic to our life. I went on a lot of business trips. We had enough money to afford trips away and all sorts of things. But one good thing was there's time apart. But the other thing is that you've been talking about this attitude that you developed. It wasn't there at the beginning, but it was there at the end. And I think, I don't want to put words in your mouth, but it's almost, I don't care about that anymore. You know, you're protecting yourself. So whereas at the beginning, I might have touched nerves and relied on you, you said, you know, I don't feel sorry for you anymore when you're crying and stuff. Can you talk me through that? It was like that at the beginning when we were early married or not?
I didn't have to show you anymore that I cared.
Got you.
I didn't have to show you with my actions, my body language, the words I said. I had nothing to prove.
Interesting.
My number one thing in the morning was making sure the children stay upstairs, ideally, until you go to work. I'll get you all dressed upstairs. Sometimes in the morning you were that hungover. You didn't even come into the kitchen where we'd all be eating, having breakfast. You just went through the front door and then we saw the gates open.
Yeah.
Oh, Daddy's in a big rush today, guys.
Did you have to explain away, come up with excuses for Daddy's behaviour, why he wasn't there, why he's just left?
I can't remember doing that very often because that was the beauty of them being so young. If they were all teenagers, I'd have had to do a lot of explaining.
Right.
No, there were 6, 5, 2, and 1.
Yeah.
Which was good for us.
And them.
I didn't have to show you that I was upset. I didn't show you when I was bothered about anything. I had the same face all the time. I didn't engage in conversation towards the end. What was the point? It's really sad, actually. It's making me think, God, what the hell did I do? But I wish I could remember everything, but I can't because it was just a blur. I just remember how I felt. I wouldn't have asked you for a coffee on year 3. Get your own fucking coffee.
Yeah.
I don't care. I'm sorry if you've had a bad night. Oh, did you have a dream? I wouldn't have bothered.
No.
Don't care. Don't tell me about your dream. Not interested.
Is that the slow demise, do you think, of a marriage? That in year 1 you cared more, tried to control and help me, tried to fix me, whereas by year 4 you'd learnt the lessons, you'd realise, actually, I've got to behave like this to protect myself.
Yeah, year 1 you were sober.
Oh yeah, I forgot that.
It was a lovely year. Year 2, I think marriage, you have to try at marriage anyway. We've both been married before.
Yeah.
This is our 4th marriage between us. I mean, we should get it right this time. I do think people change after a few years, but ours was more drastic.
Yeah. You know, even in my madness and the horrible things I was saying and the way I was behaving, not being there, then coming back, there was something that I just wanted to mention, which was how you were sometimes in the morning with me. Sometimes I needed you almost to forgive me, even when you had no forgiveness. I'll give you an example. If I'd been drinking, which was quite often, and I'd go to bed, quite often I would not remember going to bed. I was drinking to blackout then. And for those that don't know, a blackout is when you have zero memory of what you've said or done or not done. And I'd be waking up in the morning and I was in bed and I'd be coming downstairs. You'd have got up to deal with the children. And I knew I had to go downstairs and confront you, see you. You know, for normal marriages, that's nice. You just get up and go down and say, hi. No, not me. And I can tell you why. It was because I had no idea what had happened. and I'd be waking up in the morning and having to go downstairs. And I used to call that the fear. The fear. I had the cringe. I'd have to go downstairs and I would learn to look at you and almost try and gauge where the hell I was up to in an instant. And I tell you what, that sometimes, even when I'd been a shitbag, sometimes you would put your arm around me and you would say, Gordon, it's all right. Even when it wasn't. I knew that you would do that. And it wasn't all right.
Probably I put my arm around you those times when you didn't insult me.
Right.
When you insulted me the night before and my spikes came out.
Right.
I wouldn't have been at home.
Right.
I would have dropped the kids off.
Yeah.
I had 3 school runs in the morning because they're all at different ages, 3 different places. But I was so happy to do that because it got me time with them, but it got me time away from you. I would go for a coffee on the way back from the school run so I didn't have to come and have a coffee with you.
Yeah. Okay.
When you insulted me the night before.
Right.
If you didn't insult me and you cried for an hour, that's different. The demon in you was put to rest. I've got David back. But when you insulted me,
yeah,
I didn't want to look at you, to be honest.
No.
I didn't want you to come near me.
No, of course.
Don't fucking give me a kiss.
Of course.
Sorry.
No, you don't have to say sorry ever. This is where I forced you to be over years of attrition. I think the other thing that we've discussed, because we're talking about coping strategies, and clearly it slides and changes what maybe worked in year 1, year 2.
Yes.
Needed to be upgraded for year 4. So one of the other things I recall, and again, forgive me if it sounds like I'm putting words in your mouth.
No, you're not. It's
was
okay.
that at the very beginning, we love our box sets. We still do. We like to bed down and watch a box set. Typically, I've got some chocolate and you've got some crisps.
And if they have 6 or 10 seasons, they're the best ones.
Oh,
we don't tend to watch the ones with 2 or 3 seasons.
No.
What's the point?
Yeah.
Go on.
So we're sat down watching a box set. And I remember at the beginning years, we would watch these box sets together. And again, a bit like the story of before and after the Rubicon.
Yeah.
It's a bit like that. Towards the end, I'd be watching TV on my own because you'd leave.
Yeah.
You'd learned that by 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock,
Get out the way.
get out the way.
Don't be in his company.
Yes.
It's not worth it. The kids are upstairs. That's my sanctuary as much as it was theirs. I'll go upstairs and be around them. And even if they're all asleep, I'll go and lie on the bed, play snakes on my phone or whatever. But I didn't want to be around you because you would provoke me.
I would.
You would poke until you got a reaction.
Yeah. And I think it was because I was so fed up and pissed off and just...
Well, I daren't disagree with you.
No.
Could never disagree with you. Yeah. It's no wonder I was the way I was.
No. And it changed so quickly. I think, I could get stuck into 3 bottles of wine in under an hour. Couldn't I?
When you were cooking, yeah.
Yeah. So for people that don't know, my modus operandi was to tell Spike I really, really love cooking.
Yeah. You are a good cook, though. I was going to say you were.
Yeah.
You are a good cook.
But at that time, I decided that I would do the cooking because it meant that I could say to you, you go and sit down in the living room. All the kids are abed. You get out of the way. I'm going to treat you like a queen and a princess. I'll cook the nice meal for you. Only complete manipulation to get you out of the way so I could drink in the kitchen.
I knew what you were doing.
Yeah. So you would go because there was completely no point you hanging around.
No, I was grateful as well. I didn't hate you all the time. I was grateful because you were a good cook.
So I'd have a bottle of wine while I was cooking. Then when we ate the meal, I deserved a bottle of wine while I was eating the meal.
Yes.
So 20 minutes to cook the meal, 20, 25 minutes stir.
I'd be clearing the kitchen while you'd be getting your third.
And then third
As I said, I'll tidy away, you cook.
Yeah.
And then your fourth would come.
After we'd finished the meal,
10 o'clock.
we're watching a box set. I'm on my third. And then before we've even finished one episode, you're looking at your watch saying, I'm really tired.
I want to go upstairs. I want to lie on the bed, brush my teeth, put my nightie on, lie on the bed and ring my mum.
Yeah.
Tell her what a knob you are.
Yeah. He's at it again.
Because I used to vent to her because it got it off my chest. I couldn't have kept it inside me.
Okay, so that's another important point about how you coped.
Oh, yeah, I did.
You had a close relationship at that time to talk about my alcoholism and the impact on you.
Yes. And she wasn't as angry as I thought she'd be. She was disappointed in you, but she would never say anything to your face. I mean, some mums would.
Yeah.
Some of them would kick your head in.
Yeah.
But my mum would never do that. She was too diplomatic. She would say, oh, has he done it again? Oh, what are you going to do? I said, well, what can I do? I don't know what to do. Right, where are the kids? Oh, they didn't know, Mum.
Yeah.
They're none the wiser. That's okay then. And that's how it was.
So she was your sounding board. And
Yeah.
I know that you would ring her every single day, multiple times.
10 times.
Yeah.
Still do.
Yeah. So what's interesting was that she didn't tell you what to do, but she allowed you just to talk, to vent, to share.
Yeah, she said, just get it all off your chest now.
Really?
Don't have another row. Get your feelings out. Tell me how you feel. And I did.
She was like a little therapist.
Yeah, she's good. She's very quiet. Not all mums are like that, though.
No, not all people can listen, you know.
I don't think I could listen if it was our eldest telling me about she'd met someone like you. Not sure I could do that. But then again, I've got a set of skills now, you see.
Yes, you have.
They worked for me. They might not work for everyone, but they work for me. And I'll always have them because you can't forget. Once you've been through this, you will not forget.
Yeah.
And it's not always people's husbands or wives. Sons, daughters, friends, uncles, aunties, grandparents that are witnessing things that they shouldn't be witnessing.
Yeah.
How do they cope?
Yeah, they're unfortunates.
I cope by turning into a robot. And then when you turned your back, I might have had the odd tear, not very often, but I had the odd tear, and
Because you're human.
I was always functioning for the kids. They didn't have a clue. They will one day, obviously, but not yet.
Right. I think it's amazing that you managed to get through all of that period of time, keep it together. Look, by the way, it's clearly, there were times where we had stonking rows. I was a complete arse. I drove you to insanity and distraction.
Can I tell one more story? Because this is when I nearly left you.
Yeah, of course.
I didn't want to bury you. I wanted to leave you. In fact, there was, there's two.
Oh, I bet there's loads, Spike.
These were the major ones.
Go on.
We had our son together.
Yeah.
2016.
Yep.
And I'd just had a C-section. And you were there, and the whole family was there, and it was so nice. Dead healthy, so lucky, said my prayers. You were so tired, your eyeballs were red. And everyone said, come on, you need to go now. And I said, go on, I'm fine. I just want to sleep with the baby. And because we were super healthy, the nurses said, was it the next day or the day after? You can go now. I think it was the next day. Everything went according to plan. You can go home now. And you couldn't pick me up because you were high. And everyone's husbands were coming in the ward I was in to get the babies. And you never came. And you sent me a WhatsApp. I'm really sorry, Spike. I won't be able to come today. I thought, you bastard. You've not done this on this day. And I got so annoyed and upset because our son was involved. He didn't know.
No.
He still doesn't know. But at the time, I hated you for it.
Yeah.
I had to stay. I wouldn't let my mum or anybody else come and pick me up because I wanted it to be you. And you'd have that much. You couldn't drive.
Yeah.
You probably couldn't speak. That's why you sent a text, because you were obviously ashamed you couldn't pick up me and your son from the hospital.
Yeah.
I hated you so much, I did plan an exit. I had to plan everything.
But you didn't.
And there was another time I hated you as well. I think you'll remember this. We had a country home that we used to rent. God, listen to me, country home. But we did at the time.
Yes.
And it was beautiful. And we said, let's have a weekend without the kids. I'll get mum and my sister and my dad to move in and look after the kids. And let's go on a Friday and come back on a Sunday. And you said, you know what I'm going to do, Spike? I'm going to go on the Friday and take all my physics books, because you were doing a degree as well. On top of everything else, you wanted to do a physics degree, which was always nice. I didn't mind because you're so clever. It's quite a turn on that you're so clever. So it's like, fine. I said, I'll come later when I've fed the kids and they're in bed. I want to put the kids to bed and then I want to come and drive over. And I hadn't heard from you for 3 hours. And I thought you were studying physics. And I arrived. Your car was there. I never suspected a thing. The car was outside the house. I let myself in. You weren't downstairs. Went upstairs to our bedroom. and you were lying down, absolutely off your face. When I least expected it. You were going to study because you had an exam the next day or the day after. I can't remember. No, Monday you had the exam.
Yep.
You went on the Friday and I was so annoyed with you. Do you remember what I said?
No.
Have you got a will in place? Because you will die. And just so you know, I can't believe I'm saying this. Just so you know, I remember saying the words, I will move on. We will get divorced. I will meet somebody else and he will become the stepfather to our children. Just so you know.
Yeah. Now I remember.
You carry on. I'll take my case back in the car. I never wanted to go back to that house after that because I associated it with what you did. That one time when I thought we were safe, we were going to go for a nice weekend. I couldn't drive home. I was that annoyed. I had to pull over and ring my mum. You'll not guess what he's done. We've just reached a new low.
And unfortunately, we're going to run out of time, but those two things that you describe, they are my moments of acceptance and deep shame. At the time, I've had to deal with them and have to learn and listen to those. You know, I was the guy that did that.
I know.
And, you know, we say if we could turn back the clock, would you do it again? Of course, I wouldn't want to do those things again. But I appreciate that you can talk to me now and explain those things without it welling up the hatred that you could have.
My friends don't know that.
No.
They will know.
They will
But that's
know.
okay.
Well, look, I think we've got more to talk about.
We have, haven't we? We're just getting started.
I know. Okay. Thanks very much.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.